have just completed our very first Little Venice Cavalcade, where we went round the cavalcade. It was fairly successful until we got to the last three quarters, where we got a little bit stuck.
Been crazy weather today.
Yes.
So it was supposed to be sunny all day, but there was some big wind.
It was nothing to do with our actual ability to steer the boat. It was, in fact, the wind that pushed us onto the bank
and this is
got
true.
us slightly
And
wedged.
a very wise and perceptive boater pulled his boat out and just pushed our boat back in the right direction. Because if you think about it, what is a boat? It's really like our boat is 70 foot long, so that's a 70-foot sail.
Which, by the way, was full of around about 16 people who were actually all sat behind this camera watching us. Yay! So this was a slight experiment as to how many people you can actually get on a narrowboat without sinking said narrowboat, which we have discovered to be on the region of 16, possibly 17.
Yes, it got a little bit tight at times, but
Indeed. Yes.
So it is an amazing
Things were
thing.
wobbly
And
places, yes.
well, yeah, it affects the ballast because at the moment, see, everybody's over on one side, so
You'll
we're
notice
sort of
we're
listing
tipped this
slightly.
way. Yes.
But here's the thing: you say why you should really, really, really live on a narrowboat.
Yes.
Because it's an amazing lifestyle.
Because you can go to the Little Venice Cavalcade and invite 16 people to a glorious party and have a fabulous time.
Yeah.
Yay!
And that's it. And it's really fun.
And if it all goes horribly pear-shaped, you can skip down the canal and pretend that you have absolutely nothing to do with anybody.
About 150 boats here today, gathered for the weekend.
Yes.
Lots of them.
From all across the country.
Yeah, and traditional boats.
If you are a narrowboat anorak and totally obsessed with narrowboats, as we have sadly become, this is the place to be, where we talk nothing but boats.
That's it.
It's heaven.
And what you find also is all our friends love coming on the boat.
Yes.
Because you look out the window and you can see ducks and swans and
yes, it's not just our friends, in fact. Actually,
and light
quite literally. Well, not ducks, but a coot came on the other day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you make friends with nature. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And we're right in the middle of Little Venice.
I know.
Richard Branson's houseboat is just up the way, just up there.
But please don't move on to a narrowboat, because there's too many people here already, okay? So don't move on to a bloody narrowboat if you're another Londoner trying to save money by living on the water. We can't fit you in. There's no room. There's absolutely no room. It's a celebration of this way of life. I mean, an awful lot of people in this country now live on boats. I'm not entirely sure what rights we have. But you know, we don't actually have the right to vote. Because if you're not actually moored, here's an interesting fact, you can't vote because you actually don't belong to any particular community. But I think that maybe sort of is behind why we get together as a community. It's everybody who chooses this way of life, and they are quite, eccentric types, would you say, to be fair?
Eccentric, individualistic, independent. People who don't want to live in a 2 up, 2 down or whatever on land and pay council tax and everything else. You want a freer lifestyle.
Yes.
And that's what we do. That's how we live. We are constant cruisers.
Rebels.
And,
We're rebels.
And that really is what this weekend is about. It's a celebration of that. A celebration of that lifestyle.
Yes. I don't really want to encourage this, as I said earlier. There's far too.
No, I want
just no
people
room.
to do it.
Just don't live on a narrowboat.
I think it's good. I think whether people stay on a narrowboat or not, the important thing is that they are challenging the system that we have, where you work just to keep yourself afloat and you don't really have much money and everything else. It's a system that is really hard on people and it creates a lot of depression and anxiety and everything else. So.
Which doesn't mean you have to go and live on narrowboats.
No.
The bloody system. That's what you should do. Be an eco-warrior and find another way to step outside of the system.
You could go and live in a yurt in Wales or somewhere like that. But you see, there's a wonderful community that is on the canals, and you make friends with other interesting people who've got their own journey to getting here.
But again, we shouldn't be encouraging people to live on the canals. There's no room. There's no room.
I think we should.
Well, not in London. I would say if you're outside of London,
you can move around. So, that's the great thing about a boat is that you're free to move.
Yes. We could build more canals.
Maybe
actually. There were an awful lot more canals prior to everybody living on canal boats.
Yeah, some got filled in.
Massive amounts, actually. I was just reading a book on it. Ramblin' Rose. Read Ramblin' Rose. It's a really interesting fictional study of what the canals were like 100 to 200 years ago. But it's pretty accurate. But to be fair, there were a lot more canals then, indeed.
Why are we talking about this?
What? Because we got asked the bloody question.
Yeah, we're back. Will they build more canals?
They might build more canals if we run out of room, and we're running out of room in London.
No, the problem with London
Again, I say do not move on to a narrowboat in London. There's no room.
London is its own special case.
Pick up a slight discord here.
So London is its own special case. There's a lot of people living in London, younger people especially, who cannot afford. It's so expensive here, so they move on to a boat.
Yes.
Now, here's the real truth, is that a lot of those people moving onto boats think that this is an easy option. The truth is, it's a whole different way of life, and you've got to be prepared to adapt and learn all about boats and everything else. So probably this is my view, is I don't think that there's too many boats. There's too many part-time boaters or people who aren't really committed to boating on the London Canal. So if you were to take how many genuine full-time boaters like us there are, who are living month by month all through the year, probably only about 1500.
So we could solve the housing problem if we just built millions of canals throughout all of Great Britain.
No, it's not going to happen.
I actually think we could.
But it's a different way of life. No, it's not. We're not saying it's for everybody, but here it's an amazing way of life, and it's just beautiful. These old boats. The boat that we're moored up next to is 124 years old. Yeah. That boat would have been used to carry coal or wood or whatever up and down the canals. It's now used for a couple to live on.
Yes.
Well, it's once you've mastered it, it's cheaper. So you bring down your expenses. Most people are thinking about how to make more money. But we went the reverse way and thought, how can we cut down our expenses? So it is cheaper in the long run.
It can be cheaper if you pick the right boat and you look after your boat.
Make sure you get your boat surveyed. Don't just buy any old boat.
I'm going to say you're closer to nature.
Yeah.
You feel the seasons.
Absolutely.
If that's something that's important to you, if you feel kind of disconnected from life.
Yeah. And it's May, it's spring, everything's coming out now.
Could I say number 3 is community?
Yeah.
We have a great community of friends. Yeah. I mean, they're all bonkers, but we love them. You know who you are. Yeah. It's a good, strong community. Yeah.
I would say 4th is that there's a lot more light. We need light as human beings. Our nervous system needs light. You're not enclosed by buildings. You're not blocked in. And so there's a lot more light coming into the boat, and you can just step outside and be under the stars, and there's nothing blocking.
I've got to say number 5 has got to be Coots.
Coots. This is a very good reason. Yeah. Coots are darling little birds. They've got giant feet and funny little white caps on their head.
Yeah, they're bald. That's where we get bald as a coot from. And nothing will make you happier than looking at a coot. But when you see a baby coot, which is truly bald, then just life falls into perspective.
Yeah. And they're really brilliant mothers and fathers as well. They put little bits of food in the baby's mouth.
And they make nests in weird places, like
and you realise, like, kind of nature is doing its own thing.
Yeah, Coots. That's why, actually, for me, is why you should live on a narrowboat. It's Coots.
So, there you are. 5 good reasons.
Yeah.
I think the freedom for me, is the big one. Is that, people maybe move house or flat 3 or 4 times in a lifetime. We move every 10 days, 2 weeks. And there's a kind of freedom there. And also, if we don't want to live in London, we can, within a day, we can be out somewhere beautiful outside London, and then we can move further on as well. So, you're free to travel. You can take your home with you. That's what a boat is. A narrowboat is a self-contained...
When you think about it, actually, our species started off actually as nomadic. So there's a thought. Maybe we end up as nomadic. Maybe our evolution is that we are not stationary. We are not designed to be in one place doing the same thing all the time, but we are designed for change, for movement.